Um, I guess I think we're 8 hours ahead of California. And then is Arizona an hour ahead of California?
We're on Pacific time currently.
Oh, you are? Okay, yeah, so,
Yep.
It will be when we leave though. In November when we leave, it will be an hour ahead.
oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah, that's a little confusing. But anyway. So yeah, we're about 8 hours ahead of you. So I hope none of you are like football fans. Maybe that's why we have, scattered attendance. This is like football season in the middle of football day.
Well, we in our house we have a DVR, so we can go back and watch the game. So that's
Oh, nice.
that's not a problem.
Yeah, there's all kinds of new inventions since I left. There's that red zone thing where
Mhm.
you can like watch all the games and like I was home last year and like the red zone thing is amazing. I was like shocked.
Yeah, we have that as well. We enjoy it. Enjoy it. How long were you back in the States?
Wait, face.
So we come back for short visits now. So we used to come home in the beginning once every 3 years, and then we came home once every 2 years. Now we come home twice a year for very short visits because our parents are elderly and all four of our kids are in the US. So it's anywhere like from a month to 6 weeks that we're usually home.
Well, Peter, we're about 10 minutes into the call now. I don't know if we want to start with who we have here and if anyone else hops on.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Beth is not on. I think she was going to be on this call, so I'm surprised she's not on here.
No, Beth was unable to attend today, as well as Dan. So it's just Beth and I and yourselves, and we'll kind of go over the questions that we had, and then any questions that anyone that actually does make it on has, and just kind of to get some more clarifications of what to expect.
Sure.
And
That sounds great. So first of all, great to see you all. And we're really excited. In 3 weeks, you'll be here, which is really incredible. And our staff are excited. And we have all these cute orphan kids and they're excited and a lot of needy people. So it's going to really be a great trip. And we know it's a lot of work for you to, figure out how to do some of the paperwork and other things, but it's definitely going to be worth it. So we have a really neat schedule planned for you. We're still tweaking the schedule a little bit. We had a schedule that we had first come up with over a year ago, and then you'll do a lot of the same things, but it's just going to be great. And you can be like super skilled or have no skill. You just like, love needy children and listen to people, and by just being with them, you like elevate them. They're like, you came all the way from America, Matt, I must be so important. See, and so just by spending time with people and being kind to people and loving people, then you're really making their day and their week and their month. And so we're just really super excited that you're going to be here. And it's going to be a great trip. So if any of you have any questions at all, Dee, you want to lead that, or whoever has a question, let us know.
Yeah, I actually have a list of a few that first off, you said there are a few tweaks to the schedule. What are some of those changes?
Yeah, so like the schedule originally was for kind of a little bit of a longer period, and so it's just kind of rearranging some of those things. And I think on the schedule, and I don't know the last schedule we did, but there was like a sleepover, one of the centers. We're not going to do the sleepover. Also, you were going to stay at this really good guest house, but instead you're staying at a better hotel. So because the team grew so large, I don't know, I was me of little faith. I was thinking it would be smaller. So we had to put you in this hotel, but it's great. It's right near our house. And it's really nice. So actually, when I say really nice, it's really nice for here. But it still is nice. And there's like a Starbucks there. I'm not sure it's a real Starbucks. I can't actually confirm that that's genuine. But it's a nice place and good food. So the accommodations are better. So it's basically the same things you had on there. It's less the sleepover, but we're rearranging a few of the days. So probably about a week from now, I'll have your schedule, and then you'll still have 2 weeks, and then you can look at it and we can still make changes to it. So it's basically the same kinds of things. And then I think a few of the outreach things, like where it's more like on the streets outreach, we're going to make a few of those optional. But it'll still be all those same cool things.
Okay. You touched on the hotel. That was one thing that we were gonna want to bring up on the call as well. Just that our sleeping accommodations got changed, but we're appreciate you making those arrangements for that hotel, and we're excited to be there. We did have a couple questions from a few of the members of the group. There was a question about internet access. Do we know if there's going to be internet access there at that hotel?
Yes, yeah, so there is. So there's internet access at the hotel. And then also we do a modem that can travel with you in the vehicles. So you will definitely have internet. It's not as good as American internet, but it is still pretty good. And then the one at the hotel should be really good. But that's one of the things that has just been great here. There were like no landlines, and then they just bypassed and jumped right over that technology to cell phones. And there's like even poor people have cell phones. It's amazing. And so yeah, you'll have decent internet. I think especially at the hotel, you'll still have the modems at the hotel, but the modems can travel with you in the vehicle, so you could still have internet as you're traveling.
Another question we had was the what style electrical sockets is there in?
Yeah, so that's a good one. So your laptops can go on either 220 or 110. So in America, we use 110. Here it's 220. So your laptops automatically will convert and will use 110 or 220, but it is 220 here. So you should bring things that are just either both or 220. And they do have some adapters that you can buy. They're not expensive, where you could still plug in something that's 110. The good thing is your laptops will work. There are phone chargers here that we have that are 220, so that your Android or iPhones could still plug in. So yeah, so your phones and laptops will be good. If you had like a 110 hair dryer, you'll need to like get an adapter, or don't worry about it. Don't worry about bringing that.
But it's talking, and then the guys, you know, I can't, I don't know.
You have to body it. If you don't body it, then they won't give you the chance to ask.
Deborah, do you have a question?
I have a question, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't want to just interrupt what you were saying. It seemed like you had a list.
No, go ahead.
Okay, my question was about the visa. I remember reading an email that said we needed to fill out a visa form. Is that true?
Well, what we're trying to do is I have a businessman who helps me in the ministry here. So he's really great, and he's got some really high level immigration connections. We're trying to do all that for you. So if you remember, Beth had asked you all for a lot of information, and we're creating these letters that you need. And normally you would go online to a Nigerian website and you would upload those. We're going to try and do all of that for you,
Oh,
because it is a little bit of a pain. So the good thing is my business guy with these immigration officials, I think it's really going to work well. So that's what we're working on. some of those documents that we're creating for you in the next week, we are going to send them to you so you can just like look at them to make sure we put your name and address correctly. And then one of the letters is actually from you to Nigerian immigration, but we wrote it for you. So that one you will have to print and sign and scan. But basically, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We're just going to really try and do all of that for you because it is a little bit of a pain. And I think it's really going to work.
Peter,
Oh,
the business guy that's Emmanuel?
Correct.
Deborah, have you and Phillips been able to send over a passport style photo to Beth?
yes, we did. I think it was last week or this week.
Before,
This
yeah.
week, yeah, we did. And she did say she received it.
Hopefully that should be all that we need to do from our end. Like Peter was saying, Beth is putting together all the information from our end to fill out. I think when she sent out the list of what needed to be done for the visa, I think that was more of just a FYI, this is what needs to happen. But
Oh,
Beth and Peter and Emmanuel are putting all those together so that they'll fill those all out for us.
Yeah, originally, I think Beth was going to try and help you all do it, but we just realized that we really have the ability to do it. We have the connections, the website and everything is here in Nigeria. It's just a lot easier for us to get it done. And then if there's a problem, we can go find the people who we need to find. So anyway, we're just really working hard on that and it's looking really good. So for now, just relax. If we need something from you, we'll let you know. What should happen is this week we'll send you like a folder to each of your individual emails that'll have these letters in there. And then you'll just look through to make sure your name is spelled right and stuff. And we'll have the instructions for you. And then there's just this one you'll sign and then you'll send them back to us. And then I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to do everything for you, which would really be great. So for now, just relax and don't worry about it.
all right, sounds good. And then I also read something about air mattresses, and it said for our use, would we still need to do that or no?
So actually, the air mattresses are not for your use. What we were saying is that there's a number of things we need here in the ministry, and one of those is air mattresses. So you're actually at a really nice hotel. So there was a list of some things we had sent to Beth. It was like small toys, stuffed
Yes, I
animals,
saw that. Okay, so
camping tents or camping equipment or air mattresses.
I
That's
get you.
because our staff goes out into villages to try and help people in a number of ways. And so those things are like great for them.
All right, but now with the air mattress, if we could bring something like that, what about the pump? Would you have the adapter because it'll be, well, I guess,
Yeah, so
yeah, I'm
on
thinking
those,
of the plugins and stuff.
yeah, the pump will still be good for us because we have adapters. And then some of those you can get an adapter and actually like plug it into like the car cigarette lighter and stuff. But we have the adapter. So anything you send like that has a pump, that's a good question. Even if it's 110, then we can get the adapters and those will still work great for us.
Okay, sounds good.
And just a reminder to the group, we were able to get a humanitarian, I don't know what they call it, humanitarian pass for our luggage. So we're able to bring a third bag up to 50 pounds. So, we can bring, up to 2 for ourselves and then as many things as we can bring to donate in that third bag, we're allowed to bring 3 bags onto the plane with us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's super helpful because there's so many things we cannot get here. So like, for example, we need to give gifts to about 700 or 800 orphans at Christmas, but you can't get toys here. Yeah. And so like the little toys, and these are things they can be used. In other words, it's stuff that you might have at your church or your job or your school or your neighbors. And you still have 3 weeks. So if you could get like McDonald Land little toys or Matchbox cars, kind of smaller toys, also stuffed animals, also things
Yeah.
like crayons. We didn't write some of these down, but like crayons, like colored pencils,
Mhm.
little things you could use for crafts and things like that. The newest one of our people that takes care of the orphans said, we have a lack of like underwear and socks. So if there's underwear and socks, and then also like hoodies, sweatshirts, jackets, those kinds of things are really, really helpful for the children. And then we also take care of a lot of needy women. So like all different sizes would be great. And so the more you can bring, the better. So probably you don't need a ton of stuff while you're here, but if you can bring things, and again, they can be used, like they'll still be great here. Or maybe you have a connection where you can go buy underwear or socks for a low price, whatever, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be things that you buy. It can be things that people don't want anymore. And we want them.
Mm-hmm. Sure. All right.
Quick,
What about the
sorry.
women, the hygiene? I think they said something about, do you still need something for women at all?
Actually, yeah, what we needed is like stick deodorants. So we can't get those here. So both for men and women. Yeah, those would be great.
Okay. Yeah. And the weather, one last question. The weather, would we need jackets by that time or?
So the weather is really beautiful here. We're on a plateau. So if you're off the plateau, the weather's really hot. It depends on the season. We're just ending the rainy season. So you won't have any rain, but it'll still be green. Then it won't rain for about 6 months. So if you came in like April, it's kind of brown and dingy, but it's really beautiful now. And it's green and nice, and the weather's really nice. And here on the plateau, it would be kind of similar to maybe Southern California weather. So it'll be probably like in the 70s a lot, and the weather should be really nice.
Okay. All right. I have to go because not this second, but I will be bowing out early because my husband is speaking and we just arrived at the church he's speaking at. So I'm gonna hang in here as long
You're
as I can.
multitasking. Yeah, you're multitasking. Hey, take us on into the service with you.
Deborah, we're actually recording the call, and so once this is over, we'll send out a link to that recording. So if there's anything you missed, you can go back and see any of the additional questions that we asked.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I'll hang in here as long as I can. Okay.
Okay, good questions, Deborah.
Peter, I had a question about transportation.
Sure.
So twofold. One, our transportation from the airport to Jos, and then two, how will we be getting around, to all of the different organizations?
Yeah, so the way that it works is we have really good vehicles and drivers. So this is also in your schedule. So when I send it, it'll kind of detail who's picking you up and all that. But there'll actually be 4 drivers and 4 vehicles that will pick you up at the airport. And then, so then you're coming in, and then you'll be taken to Abuja, the capital city, which is just about 30 or 40-minute drive. And then you'll spend the night in Abuja because we don't drive at night here. And then you'll drive to Jos, where we are, which is about another 5-hour drive the next morning. So that'll be outlined in your schedule, but that's 4 vehicles so that you'll have enough room for everyone to sit comfortably and also to carry all of your baggage. And then around Jos, it's the same thing. So we have drivers and multiple vehicles. And then most of the time you'll be staying together, but there will be some optional times. And then those are times where, so normally you'll have like 2 large vehicles. And then, but optional times we can put a 3rd or 4th vehicle in, depending on if you're going to divide. Like some people may want to go on an outreach and others may not feel comfortable or something like that. So really good drivers, really good vehicles.
Question on those vehicles. You said they're large vehicles. I'm just curious as to So you think that the 4 vehicles will be able to fit all 16 of us, plus if we're all bringing 3 items of luggage, that's what,
Yeah, because it's
48 bags?
it's 3 large vans and an SUV. So the way that it works is like a few of you will go in the SUV. That might be like Steve, D, and Sky or something like that. You'll figure out yourselves. And then there's one van that's big. It's like it's supposedly an 18 passenger, but that's Nigerians. There's always room for one more. You know what I'm saying? But and then most of the passengers will go in that really nice van. And then there's another van that will take a few passengers and some luggage, and then one van will just take luggage.
Okay.
So yeah, the 4 vehicles work great.
Dustin, did you have it looked like you were unmuting a couple times. I think I kind of walked over you, so sorry.
No worries. I remember reading in one of the emails, Peter, that there was something about maybe sending some of us some supplies and then we could bring them in our suitcases. Did I read that correctly? Is that a thing?
Yeah, so what I had just said to Beth was if there was anyone that had any room, there are some things that we need to buy on Amazon and we would send them to whatever address you told us. Like there's some specific things for our mission and there's some specific things that we need. So if some of you had room, then we could mail things to you and then you'd pack them for us, which is really nice, and bring them, which is kind of a pain, but it's a big blessing. So really, like the things you bring, even before you get here, when you get here, you've already had like a big ministry because you're bringing so much stuff we can't get.
And then so if we did, what would be the cutoff if, say I have room and I would like to, have you send some items, what would be the cutoff date?
Yeah, I mean, probably we wouldn't want to send anything to you within the last week, like, because you want time to pack and everything. So if you all just tell Beth, she's kind of our D, then we would know, and then we would send things in the next, 10 days so that, for the whole last week, you knew what you had or something. So it just depends on what people have, if they have room and if they're comfortable, then we'll send you things. And see, some people might be good at collecting toys and clothes and, whatever, shoes, even sport shoes is another one. Because like if it's a church or a big company or a school or something, they might be able to donate a lot of things because basically things that people don't want anymore are still like fantastic over here. But some people may not have that kind of a connection to get a lot of donations. So then we could send things to them and it would still be like a huge blessing.
We would just reach out to Beth and let her know, we have this much space in our suitcase, and then she'd let you know.
That would be like perfect.
Okay.
If you've been quiet, brother. You have any questions?
Oh, I'm just soaking it all in. I'm just trying to get as much. Well, I guess a couple. One would be, is there like a D on our end? Is there like an itemized list of stuff that if we weren't thinking of bringing, that's like a general pool of items that we could reach out and say, oh, don't worry, I got that, or something like that. And then 2, I said on the first call, one of the fun things I'd like to do while I'm there is maybe bring some deflated basketballs. And then then I'm a basketball coach, so I figure I don't know if there's any facilities around where we can play some hoops, but I'd love to coach them up and at least maybe get a practice in.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that. And that brings up another point. Well, first, to answer your question, we need as much toys and clothes and old laptops and anything you can bring. So it's not like once we get so much, we don't need anymore, but balls are amazing. So, literally you can have a ministry here if you have a ball, so that one is really fantastic. And so what would be great is we'll have some things for you, sort of some inner city type things where there's some Nigerian coaches that need some encouragement. And you can even stay in touch with them like after you go home, and some cool like sports ministry stuff. And so another thing it just brings to my mind is, Dee, that if someone does have a skill like that, like a basketball coach, and if they just let us know, we can like put in some little things for that person that would be like super helpful to us, and they could actually use their skill. Now, some people, let's say a computer person, may want to get away from their skill for a couple of weeks and doesn't want to do that. But if there are people that have an area of skill that they want to use, probably we could incorporate it, but definitely basketball coaching, could be a great one.
Awesome.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll
Devin,
try and bring in a
Jeff,
short of stuff from that case too. Soccer balls, basketballs. I'll just load the whole bag up.
So I would just say for you, don't even, if someone gives you a toy, don't even bring it. Like, we just bring balls. And let's say you've got old, jerseys or shorts or stuff
Great
that's
idea.
like 10 years old and nobody wants it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything like that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm thinking somebody asked about pumps earlier too. As long as we've got, even if it's a hand pump, that's fine. I'll
And
try and
there are some, you can get some hand pumps here now. What you can get is, it used to be you couldn't get balls and pumps. Now you can get some balls, usually low quality ones, but you can buy some hand pumps here now. And then occasionally there'll be a quality ball, and then it'll just be like, $100 or $150. It'd be some kind of ridiculous price. But so that's why balls will be great. Hand pumps will still be great, but we can buy, in case we need them, we could buy some. We don't have anything like the kind of pump that would, blow it up off of a car or something. But if you brought one, we could plug it into a car, cigarette lighter or something like that. But otherwise we'll use hand pumps.
yeah.
and Devin, I noticed that all the balls you were talking about were round, man. We can get some oblong shaped balls too, like some football,
Well, it is.
football or rugby. I'm just saying.
Football's
can.
great. A lot of them have never seen a football. We had a football player come like 10 years ago, and they loved it. They'd never seen them then, but then those balls got like destroyed because, we got like 400 orphans full time, and the boys are rough on things. But yeah, if you brought a football, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Some footballs for sure.
Let me see what I can buy in bulk and try and, because I mean, even one ball can go a long way with a lot of kids. So
It
that's
really
the
can.
goal.
It really can. Yeah. And if you had a connection to like used balls, you'll still be fine. Just deflate them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no pressure on that. Whatever you can get is awesome.
Certainly will do. But a general list too. The other question is just like a general list itemized of like a wish list. I'm sorry if that was already brought up, but that
No,
would
I
be
had given, I had just given that to Beth. Maybe we can resend that out, but I actually sent her something earlier today because one of the ladies that helps with the orphans, she gave me some other things. So once Beth has that, we'll have a kind of a more final list. And it's just like toys and clothes and old laptops and, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
There-
all
there's
the
a-
used stuff.
there's a lot of things that he mentioned today as well that were not on that original list that were sent out. So we'll make sure that we
great.
we add all of those and resend out that list.
Yeah, those were the things I got earlier today, and I sent it to Beth, but it was only a few hours ago. So yeah, then if we could get that list out to everyone, those are things that are like so important. So yeah, if anybody has those or can get them, bring them.
Yeah. Books too. I mean, I'm not sure the
Books
difficulty
are great,
there.
especially like children's books. They're heavy,
Yeah.
but it's really hard for us to get books here. But we need books because in our centers we have libraries, and what happens is the people are not taught to read here. And so we're trying to teach people to read, and they're so intelligent, but they don't get a chance. And then once they can read, it's like the whole world opens up to them. So yeah, books are great, but especially like kids' books or very, very simple books.
Yes. I'm on it. I've got a
What are
Got a
the
big-
ages of the children that are there?
So
Like from
we
the
do-
range of age, I should say. That's the range.
yeah, I mean, we do get babies, but then we try and get them into adoptive situations. And then for us, the ages of the children that we have are about ages 3 to probably ages about 23. So
Oh, young
what
adults.
yeah, and those, what happens is because a lot of our kids are either street children, orphans, they had a really hard time. They might be 16, and I mean, you'll swear they're 11 or 12, unfortunately, but some malnourishment early on and some other things like that. So even the 23-year-olds, they might look like they're 16 or something. But anyway, so that's the range that we have. The littler ones, we try and get into families. We work through the Nigerian system with social services and women's affairs, and we try and get them into families. And then if they come to us too old, we have other parts of the ministry or partner ministries. So if they come like in later teens, we still have ministry for them, but it's hard if a child, especially a boy, has been on the streets until their later teens. It's really hard. We have ministries, but we don't bring them in with the other smaller children. If they're a girl, they're more vulnerable. We're going to take them in no matter what. I know that sounds, wrong or whatever, but we still minister to all of them. But we're trying to get them, when they're young and when we can really take care of them and educate them and build into them. So you'll see kids of all ages, and it's heartbreaking. It's sad, but it's also hopeful. These are good questions. Any other questions?
Uh, I don't have another question that I can think of. The only other item that I wanted to make sure that we covered. I reached out to Beth earlier today. Hadn't heard a response yet. I wanted to just kind of throw out there. I know that Giving University has in the past they have agreed to match 50% of anything that our group can what our group can either donate or reach out to our communities and have our communities donate for this trip. Once we come back and put together our grant proposals and decide what we're wanting to do and donate to. I know Giving University in the past has agreed to match 50% of whatever we can fundraise on our own. So just for everyone on the call and everyone that may be watching the recording, I just keep that in mind. And if whatever can be, we can spare from our own households and gather in our own local communities. Confirm with the board that's still something that they are doing. I'm pretty sure that it is. So keep that in mind.
I mean, that would be amazing. Yeah. And so, yeah, once you come here, I mean, you'll be changed. It's amazing. You'll be amazed at what an impact you can have. And, some of these little kids might call you mommy or daddy. And it's powerful what you can do. And money goes a long way here. So anything you could raise, and then if they match at 50%, that'd be amazing. I think I should donate too, because they're going to give a match 50%. So that's really, really awesome. Yeah, I hope they do that.
Dustin, do you have is there anything that you can think of that we had talked about previously that we left out?
No, I think that, we were just trying to get a feel for what next steps would be. And I know, Peter, you had said you were going to be sending out, information in the next week or so, kind of following up on all the things, and anything else that we need to do on our end. I can't really think of
Yeah,
anything
I
else
think
right now.
from our side, what our plan is you'll be here in 3 weeks, which is so amazing. It's so awesome. And then we're gonna get you out this week, like a little folder with these letters. And there'll be instructions. It won't be complicated. It'll just be look through these, make sure that your name's right and everything, and that you sign this one letter and send them back to us. So don't worry about that. But when we send that, it'll be like obvious what we're doing, and Beth will communicate with you and all that. And then also like a schedule, and it'll be a pretty good schedule, but you can look through it and we can ask questions and we can make changes. And then there'll be other things like this list of things that'll come out probably from Beth in the next few days of things that we need. And then if there's any of you that we could buy from Amazon and send to you, that would be great. And then we'll start doing that, this week and next week. And then, yeah, before you know it, you'll be here.
Oh, and thank you, Peter. One thing just popped into my head, and it's if anybody that's going has any special dietary needs, is that something we all just kind of need to take care of that on our own and make sure that we pack accordingly?
That would be good to know. The good thing is that like at the hotel, you have breakfast every morning, so you'll be able to pick what you want. And then my cook will be making you bag lunches, like in coolers, because you're out doing ministry things. So you need to eat, out there, and you can only eat our food. You can't just eat food off the street. Some of you have traveled a lot, but it's just bottled water only. And it's just the food that we can make sure is okay. And then most dinners you're going to eat at the hotel where people can pick off of a menu. If there was some kind of a strict dietary need, people could let us know, but pretty much you'll be picking your food. Even the stuff that our cook makes, like we're going to give everyone choices of like tuna fish sandwich, egg salad sandwich, or peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then there's like apples and cookies. And so it's just kind of like, oh, well, I don't like peanut butter and jelly, or it's not good for me, so I'll take egg salad. So anyway, for the most part, if there was something serious like that, but you'll kind of be able to pick and choose the food you eat. The food, there's not as many choices as we would have at home, but there still are enough choices where someone that's having a dietary issue could do that. The other thing is, if we knew about it ahead of time, then maybe we could really go out of our way to go see where we could find certain things. Or what's even easier is if people could bring those things, because a lot of things we don't have here.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter, Amelia had a question about the children's books.
Yes.
I'm sure you've touched on it before. The national language in Nigeria is English.
So what happened is the British ruled here for a long time, so it is English, but there's over 400 tribal languages. And the main tribal language of the North where we are is called Hausa. So educated people speak English, and then all the little kids we get in the ministry, they usually don't speak English, but then we teach them English. So English is the perfect language for the children's books. So yeah, that's just, English is great. There's a lot of countries here in Africa where it would be French, but for us, it's English.
And the other question you had was on snacks, right? Is there in addition to like the toys and things like that, is there any like snacks or anything that
No, but I mean, the kids here love American candy. So if you have like if you can buy some of those big bulk bags of candy. Oh yeah, they love that stuff. There's a little bit of candy here. It's just not very good. So anything, any kind of candy and stuff, we'll just work with our staff to do it in a way where it's done fairly and in control. Because, in some cases, you'll be at a place where, maybe it's a meeting of street kids, they're more wild. So we would just have to keep things in control. But yeah, that's a great question, and those would be amazing.
All right, Devin, you handle the fitness and bringing the balls and keeping the kids fit. I'll bring a whole suitcase full of sweets and
Well, if I
chocolate.
fitness, you mean fitting balls in the suitcase? I got that covered. Otherwise, well, no, I'm excited. I think everybody is here too. I just wish the 3 weeks could go by so we could get there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate it very much.
Peter, I just have one last, it was an initial
Sure.
question, but just clarification here. I understand what you're saying that power there is 220, but our laptops and some things will convert. We may need to bring
Right.
a converter. But the actual plugs themselves, are they like the standard US plugs, or are they the two cylinder circles that are typically associated?
Yeah,
with
so what happens, oh, I know what you're saying. It's not the cylinder circles like in Europe. It's a three-pronged one, two on the bottom and one on the top. But then we have these adapters that will go into that. And then out of that adapter, it's still 220, but you can plug all your 110 plugs into it, but it's still 220.
Okay.
So you just wouldn't, and pretty much, I don't, unless it's a hair dryer or a blender or something like that, your different things that charge a phone or a laptop can go 110 or 220. But then we have these adapters where you can plug your little American two-pronged 110 into, but it's still 220 current.
Gotcha. Okay. Understood.
Excellent questions. Any others?
That's it for me.
No, thank you so much.
That's it for me as well.
Good. Well, yeah, after we have the last questions, maybe I can just say a little prayer for us.
Peter, that would be great.
Good. Well, listen, this has been so awesome. Thank you all for taking the time. And then let me pray. Let's pray. Lord, we love you, and we thank you that no matter if we're in Arizona or Colorado or California or Nigeria, somehow we can talk and communicate, and you see us all. And I pray blessings on the team and bless their families and all the preparations and trying to bring things for the orphans or the women or others. Bless them, Lord, encourage them, and please work out all the details and keep everyone safe and healthy, and bring them to us here, Lord. And we pray for just an amazing time of uplifting the spirits of these precious children and women and others in need. And I know that the spirits of the team are going to be uplifted too. I know they're coming to bless, but I know, Lord, you're going to bless them so much. So take care of them now. Thank you for this time, and we love you. And we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Peter, thank you so much, man. I know we had talked about possibly having a one last, one last call, just probably just the week that we travel. So
Yes.
I'm sure we'll get together with Beth and send out some potential times but just for us here on the call and anyone that's watching the recording, we're probably thinking about maybe the 1st or the 2nd of November, just a couple of days before we travel, just in case there's any last minute changes or questions.
I think that's wise. Yeah. So I'm available through phone calls or emails, but definitely I think getting another Zoom call makes a lot of sense.
We'll get together with Beth and make sure we get that on the calendar and hopefully have the whole group on so that so that there's no confusion once we get to the airport. Hey, everyone that's on the big thing, make sure we leave enough time to get to the airport. No last minute, getting there. I know there has been a couple trips where there's been some confusion and some delays, just getting to the airport a little later. Make sure we leave ourselves plenty of time. We plan on getting to the airport and just sitting and chilling and having breakfast or something. But
That's wise, definitely.
Yeah.
all right, Peter, thank you so much for your time. Augusta, thank you very much. Devin, always a pleasure, brother.
Hey, always. See y'all soon.
Good to see everyone. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Steve.
You.
Bye.